Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4, probably one of my favorite episodes to date. I love this so much. Now, this video is definitely really late. I didn't want to skip it because it's late, because we've been talking about Game of Thrones. I don't want to just skip it because we're late. And between having to pick up so much work and then the comic book, I released the comic book, DoomsdayKingdom.com. The physical copies are up for pre-order. I'm going to shut up about that now because this is Game of Thrones, you know. That's zombie material. That's for like Walking Dead, that kind of crowd. But just in case you happen to be here and you didn't hear about it, I want to mention it. But because of my schedule and picking up more work, I'm running late on this, so I do apologize, but I just wanted to talk about it as quick as we can, and then we'll move on to, for Walking Dead fans, we got the death predictions coming, the next video right behind this one. Anyway, so before we get into this episode, though, about the last episode, yeah, I totally forgot that the tower scene. Now, I do know the tower scene kind of confirms that, and it just slipped my memory totally, I mean completely, but yeah, the tower scene confirms that Ned isn't the dad. I didn't know it confirmed the actual father, and I didn't know it confirmed that Jon Snow is the uncle to Daenerys. I believe I'm saying that right because you guys are helping me out with the pronunciation. Daenerys, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, so Jon Snow is her uncle, okay? And Ned had to promise he wouldn't tell anyone, whoop-de-whoop, so that's why he went back and pretended and all that. Now, a lot of people in the comment section said that HBO said or confirmed that in a post or some kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. Now, I can't watch the behind-the-scenes stuff for every single episode or every single TV show out there, so some of the things I'm going to miss as far as that's concerned, which is totally fine if they want to touch base with it again and kind of confirm it in the show. I do want it to be in the show. I know Alien Covenant was a movie that came out recently, and every single time I get on YouTube now, I see someone else make a video saying, this deleted scene confirms or shows or reveals why this character did this. And it's like, why was that in the movie? Like, what the fuck you doing, bro? You leaving half the movie for the DVDs, deleted scenes? I don't get it. Anyway, so yes, Jon Snow is her uncle. Anyway, moving on. So, the very beginning, they had a nice back and forth with Bronn wanting the castle. I love that bit. And I love how it sets up the ending about that one remark, why are you so gloomy? Your gold or your new wealth weighing you down? Both Bronn loses his gold, and then Jaime sinking at the very end. But next up, we got Peter Baelish and Bran. Now, I wrote something here that might just be a clusterfuck, to be honest with you, because I always assumed that it was Cersei trying to kill Bran. Jaime pushed him out the window, and he didn't die, so to keep the secret, you know, she hired someone, because they always talked about a wealthy family. And that, come on, I mean, that's public, that's suspect number one, right? Obviously, because when you're new to the story, when you're first watching season 1, you don't know anyone else, especially that wants them dead. So I just kind of thought that this entire time. Now, if there's something else going on, or if they revealed who wanted him dead, I always assumed it was Cersei, and she hired Peter Baelish to do it. And then I love this because if Cersei is the one who did it, here's gold, here's this dagger. You know, she goes to Peter Baelish, hires someone to get it done. He hires someone, they fail. He gets the dagger back, Peter Baelish. He gets the dagger from, what? The Lady Stark, right? The mother, Catelyn Stark. Is that her name? I pulled that out of my ass. So he gets the dagger from Catelyn Stark, and now he gives it back to Bran. See what I'm saying? Bran gives it to Arya. Arya wants to kill Cersei. I don't see Cersei dying on a fucking battlefield against a dragon. So if she does, and she doesn't have to kill her, but if she stabs her, wounds her, I mean, really wounds her, fatally wounds her, but doesn't finish her off with the very dagger from season 1 where this all kick-started from, I don't know. There's something there I like. I could be way off, but there's just something there I like. What did I say here? Said it to Bronn. Oh, yeah, when Peter Baelish said, you return to this world and it's chaos. Bronn, like, Bran, sorry, I'm talking about Bronn and whatever, but Bran looks up like he remembered something, as if he was having some kind of vision before, off screen that we didn't see, and he heard parts of Peter's story. Peter talking to Varys in season 1, because Peter said, I forget the whole thing, but he said, chaos is a ladder. No, he said chaos isn't a pit, chaos is a ladder. Some bullshit like that. And then Bran, it's as if he remembered it. You get what I'm saying? So since he keeps saying that he sees these visions in bits and pieces, he doesn't know everything yet about Peter Baelish, you know, the slimy little bastard that he is. I can't wait. Like, that's going to be one of my biggest rewards. I've been wanting that fucker's head on a pike since season 1. I cannot wait. But watch it again. When Bran hears that last word, you know, chaos is a ladder, he looks up as if he remembers his vision, and he says it as if he's not even thinking. He's autopilot. He's repeating it like, oh, I remember that. Chaos is a ladder. You know, he hears chaos and it's the trigger. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into that too much, but that's the vibe I got. So he doesn't know everything yet, because I feel like if he knew everything, every little slimy detail, he'd say something. Anyway, moving on to Arya and Sansa's reunion. Loved it, with the Valyrian steel getting it from Bran, and then the Jon Snow. I laughed because when Jon Snow says, "Oh, there's more. I want you to come see what's on the wall," I was thinking like there's markings on the wall and some recent dust. And imagine Daenerys looking at Jon Snow being like, "Jon, did you fucking carve this in here?" Like, "No, my lady, look," or "No, you know, come over here and look. It's real. Look on the wall." That was a stupid moment I had watching the show, but I like that scene back and forth, and I believe there was a moment right when they end where Jon Snow threw it in Mance Rayder's face about his pride, and now we have Daenerys throwing it in Jon Snow's face about his pride. I love that little twist there, like that callback to that moment. So anyway, we get Daenerys finding out about Casterly Rock. I love that moment. You know, Daenerys comes off sometimes a little bit like a bitchy, whiny child sometimes, and that's a bit to the extreme. I'm trying to breeze over the description there, but sometimes she just comes off as spoiled. But I think the actress, she rocked this scene when she found out about that. And then the next scene with Arya and Brienne Tarth doing the training was off the hook. I can't wait to see more. Now, I really wish, after that moment, I really wish we did see more training. Now, I know we got enough. I know there was moments way back in those different seasons, especially with Arya's story. I was like, when is this going to catch up? When is this going to tie in? What does this have to do with anything? You know? But now I'm starting to, I don't know if it's the distance. Maybe I need to rewatch it. But I feel like I want to see more. Maybe I'm just not remembering it because I binge watched, what, like 4 seasons in a row. But I did want to see a little bit more, and I did want to kind of see a little bit more of Brienne in that moment. I don't know, kind of happy that the Stark children can take care of themselves so well. I don't know, there was just something I wanted. I'm not going to mark it as a strike against the scene at all. I still really enjoyed it. And then Sansa walking away. I got 2 things from that. Either one, she's kind of like, wow, everyone's got fucking superpowers and I ain't got shit, you know, so maybe she's jealous. Or 2, she's a little bit scared of her fucking sister. Maybe scared or worried for her, or concerned about what she's been through. Like, how did you come back as a super fucking ninja? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so what do we got? Jon and Davos, I love every moment they're on screen together. They are a fantastic, fantastic duo together. And when they run into Missandei and they talk about him being a bastard, and they talk about her picking Daenerys as a queen not because of, you know, someone's father or some king they didn't even know, but the fact that they chose her because she believes in her. I think that was absolutely a necessary scene, and it's fantastic because each of the characters is starting to get a better understanding of who each other is. And I'm talking about Jon Snow and Daenerys here because, you know, they show up and they're strangers. They hear stories possibly from other people about the other person, but, you know, getting it firsthand, seeing these people and this girl who used to be a slave, and now she was freed by this other woman, and she is willingly following her and helping her in every way, shape, and form. And she does believe, or she knows, that Daenerys would give her a boat if she wanted to leave. Like, she's free to go, but not only that, she would help her out get to where she wants to go. I love little scenes like that. I love that. Theon and Jon Snow. Oh man, I wanted him to get his ass kicked. They did a good job making you feel bad for Reek, though. I mean, there was a part there where, you know, what, like season 3 Theon or maybe season 2 Theon, I'm like, kill him, just kill him. You know, he betrayed your family, just kill him. But then everything with Reek and then, you know, everything with Sansa, like Jon Snow said, if it wasn't for that, you know, you'd be a goner. All right, so then we get to the attack, and this is by far one of the all-time greatest moments, I think, in Game of Thrones for me as a viewer. Just running down the list, just the way they kick this off, they have the... well, first off, it kicks the season structure right in the face. Now, a lot of TV shows have structure that the writers fall into that I hate. I hate structure when it becomes predictable. The Walking Dead's a show I love. The structure's starting to get frustrating. You know, season premiere, something epic. Mid-season finale, something epic. And it kind of feels like in between, they stretch the story or they mess with the story just so they can have that epicness in the mid-season finale. And then guess what? Mid-season premiere. And then guess what? The season finale. It's those key 4 episodes. What the fuck am I doing? Now with Game of Thrones is not innocent either. Game of Thrones has this structure that did annoy me a bit, but I was enjoying so much of the story. Even with The Walking Dead, a lot of the times it annoys me, but I'm enjoying so much of the story. It's kind of like, well, I wish they didn't do that, but, you know, I'm still having fun. Game of Thrones has this structure where something big happens in episode 9. It's either a big battle or, you know, it's a big moment. And then season 10 is kind of like some conclusion for this season, wrapping some things up, but it's also the jump start to what we're going to see in the next season. If you go back and rewatch it, it's almost like clockwork. I mean, the structure is there absolutely, completely, 100%. I believe some of the biggest battles throughout the entire scene are that episode 9. It has that structure, and then 10 is kicking off the new season. Well, right now we're in episode 4, and you probably have this massive, huge battle that I was not at all prepared for. I thought we were going to get something, you know, oh, dragon comes down, burns some people, and then, you know, it's done for. This was like the... I don't want to say the season finale because they have a slightly different structure, but this is the... There's big stuff that happens in the finales. I'm just saying. This is that big war moment in the episode before the finale for Game of Thrones. So it kicks the structure in the face, but the way they started off with the guys talking again, and immediately we show that Jaime is a good guy in this moment, or a better guy than... maybe sometimes we give him credit for. When the other lord wants to whip the men to get them to move faster and shovel the wheat quicker, Jaime is like, no, they fought good for us. You know, give them fair warning, you know, and then they roll their eyes when that guy kind of looks irritated, like, oh yeah, give him fair warning, okay. So immediately they show that Jaime cares about his people. The first thing they do before this war kicks off, or this battle kicks off, Jaime's like, no, they fought well. This is our people. Give them fair warning first. Obviously, he's going to save face too, but they go right from that to this slow build. They show even storm clouds rolling in, and the Dothraki with the howl, I guess, you know, war cry, whatever you want to call it. The Lannisters, they even show an up-close shot of some of them shaking. And then you hear Jaime Lannister says, we can hold them off, or, you know, something like that. We can hold them off. And then you hear the screech of that dragon. That whole intro was, man, I think I was on the edge of my seat at that moment. And then we have a couple notes, and then I want to freely talk about that war. The dragon, everything with the dragon was epic. Sometimes I like to pick on CGI because I hate CGI, but I think they did good with this. And I think it's a silly fucking thought to have Daenerys on the back of a dragon. It's just fucking silly. But for this battle, I rewatched it twice now. I'm good with it. I don't have a single fucking complaint. I'm good with it. Whatever they did there, it worked. Showing as little as possible is probably the best bet. You know, you don't want to have her swoop in on the dragon and then swoop out. What they did, I think it sold it good enough. The way they sold the how she kind of interacts with the dragon. I don't know. I don't know what the word for that, but when they shoot the arrows and the dragon immediately knows, you know, maybe the dragon is really smart. I believe that is the case in Game of Thrones. Again, in the books, they break this shit down. So, but there's also that connection too between her and the dragon knowing what to do. Now, Bronn and the Dothraki, he's running away to get to the Scorpion so he can shoot it at the dragon. First, you have him losing his gold. He's running through. Everything's getting burnt up. Love that shit. And then the Dothraki jumps on the Scorpion when it's in the tent, and then boom, he takes that arrow. Even in well, if you watch it on HBO now, I have. Afterwards, they show how they did that little scene. I like that little bit. So if you want to go watch that, they show that little. It's only like a 5-second clip, but it's cool because they take the guy up and then they CGI in the spear and shit like that. But Tyrion comes over the hill and he starts watching, and we got the dragon who comes back, and there's this faraway shot and he just lights him up. That shit was insane. That was awesome. The practical effects mixes, I mean, incredibly well with the CGI. Again, if you watch the behind the scenes, definitely go check it out. I believe it's even posted on YouTube. It's worth the watch, with the men in the armor melting, the bodies turning to ash, even the horses when they're riding through the bodies on the ground. All of that was fantastic. And they're pulling at your heartstrings too, because Jaime's here, and the way they're filming it, the dragon even comes, there's a close call with him and the fire, and he looks over. There's a moment where it's like he's preparing for it. At least maybe that's what I pulled out of it. And then he looks up. The fire didn't consume him, and he looks up, and his men are like blowing away, like the ashes. His men are all sitting there on fire and melting and shit. The only problem I do have, though, when he's setting a Scorpion up, the big huge arrow thingamajig, the whole time I'm saying, don't have him shoot the dragon. I'm going to be pissed because I know how it's going to be. You're going to fly right at the arrow. It's going to shoot you, and it's going to be stupid and silly and fucking retarded. If this is a smart dragon, he just dodged arrows before or blocked them, and now he's going to fly right towards the danger. This is dumb. But they did it a fucking awesome way. It's one of those fake outs where it's like, you know, you're guessing we're going to set it up like this, flying right through him. But then the arrow catches the dragon in the shoulder. He lands and destroys the shit out of the Scorpion. Bronn makes it safely off to the side. I mean, I don't know. He probably should have got some type of... he's going to be fucked. He has to be. He has to have... Like, there has to be hair singed or something. In the next episode, he'll be captured and there's hair missing on his face. But... So you have her trying to remove the spear, and I love this moment with Tyrion on the hill, and then Jaime's like, you know what, come on, girl, to his horse. He picks up the spear and starts charging at her, and the way they did that with the dragon's head was awesome. And then this is the best part too. Cersei's the one I'm rooting for to die. If Cersei was there, I'd be like, okay, kill some Lannister men, but go get Cersei and then just finish it off. You know what I mean? Maybe put Jaime in a jail cell for a little bit. I don't know. Bran, you know, he's got his destiny. So, you know, he threw a kid out of a house. So what are you gonna do? You know. But so I don't want Jaime to die. I'm a big fan of Jaime, even though he's a messed up character, absolutely. But in the same strength, I don't want Daenerys to die at all. I don't want her to lose this battle or in this moment. She's been taking a beating in the last couple episodes, and I want her to have a win here. You're rooting for these characters on both sides, and they're both taking an ass whooping. So I do like that that save at the end with Bronn. I don't think it was time for Jaime to flee the story yet. And one thing that's really interesting that I like is when they do show that close-up of the dragon's mouth. And I don't know why I remember this, but I remember a long, long time ago, I heard this documentary of a beetle in Africa. Now, when you look at the dragon's mouth, his throat lights up, but there's these two holes on the inside of his mouth. Well, I remember watching this really weird documentary where some guy was talking about dinosaurs could have possibly, it's a crazy theory, could have possibly shot fire-like substance out of their mouth because there's a beetle that does it. And it's logical that, or it's a decent theory. I don't know how true any of this shit is. Again, I'll get to it in a second, but that maybe the dinosaurs were actually dragons, and then that's how you have this medieval shit in our history with, you know, dinosaurs and dragons and shit, or dragons and shit like that. They were really dinosaurs. Here's why. Because there's a beetle in Africa that has 3 compartments in its ass end. The 2 compartments on the side, when they touch each other, they are explosive. And there's one compartment or maybe there's 4. There's one compartment that neutralizes that explosion. And just as they're about to release those 3 triggers, keep in mind, 2 of them combined will explode. One of them neutralizes that explosion. And just as it's about to shit it out its ass end, I think it flies out its ass end, there's a 4th chemical that touches at the very last moment that takes away the explosion neutralizer. And man, that's scientific, right? Like a motherfucker. And it shoots fire out of its ass. Look that up. There's a beetle in Africa, unless that was like a troll video. Again, it can't be. I watched that shit when I was like fucking before the internet existed. So I'm pretty sure that beetle exists. I don't know about the dinosaur shit. It was out there, but that was just something I thought was interesting, those 2 holes. Watch, there's something that has nothing to do with fire, and it's explained earlier, and I just totally missed it with the 2 holes. Like John being her uncle. Oh, man. Who saw that coming? You know? Anyway, thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I already talked for way too long, and I'm just throwing this up there. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you didn't, just hit that fucking dislike button. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'm done. No mas. Let me shut this down because I'm not editing it.